I wish you would have had somebody like you when you were young. I wish I would have had somebody like me. You know what I mean?
I say that all the time. But going the pathway that I had also led me to where I'm at too. So now my goal is, hold on, I'm going to make sure everyone else learns all the lessons that I learned and again, continue to learn. I want everyone to have that. I do think, like, it's funny because I was 6'5", and so obviously in high school I get put in the post. So I'm just sitting in the post waiting.
And they don't
I'm the best shooter. I was the best ball handler. I was the best passer. And I'm just like,
and that's the problem, bro. That's the whole problem. And that's the problem with AU and everything, right?
But even with our training, we used to, our coach, he was a bit of a hard ass, but he'd be like, all right, go run 5 miles. So we would run 5 miles. And I'm like, man, I'm putting in all this work. And then I get on the court and I'm tired. How am I working this hard and I'm exhausted? Like, we're playing the inner city kids and they're getting rebounds, boom, explode, crop, pop, dunking. And I'm like, well, I dunk after practice. Like, so if I get a fast break, I'm going to dunk. So I get a rebound, I go. And by the time I get to the end, my legs are gassed and I can't explode up. And I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I'm just not athletic. I just internally took all of that. Like, man, I'm just not a good athlete. And then it's funny. I go to my first year of college. It was a JUCO, and it's like, yeah, we're doing weights. We run half a mile before practice, half a mile after. So instead of a full mile or 2 miles or 3 miles,
his whole plan,
it's got to be full speed for half a mile. So because he was like, the most you'll ever be running in a game without a stoppage is probably 3 minutes.
I agree with
so
that.
We're going to run about 4 minutes. So he would just be
short explosion, man.
It's explosive. So he said the most that you're going to run is statistically about 3 minutes. But in that time, it's going to be 30 seconds. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be 45 seconds. So we would build up that 4 minutes of running before and after practice. But during practice, it was explosive. We're getting to the next drill. We're doing the next thing. And for me, it was overwhelming. But I came back home and I'm going by people. I'm dunking. I'm like 360s. And everyone's like, man, like, you got really athletic. And I tell everyone, like, man, I was a really late bloomer. But then I think about it and I'm like, no, I was always training for the wrong stuff. We didn't do weights. We did long distance.
Exactly.
You know, we weren't explosive. We didn't have a shot clock. So everything was walk it up, pass, wait, like sit in the post, like everything was slow. So the biggest thing now is I'm trying to get people, like, if we had a shot, everyone needs a shot clock all around the country because 100%. We have bad coaches. Shot clock.
Bad coaches, you're right. And that's what I use and that'll take me to my next point is a constraint-led approach. You've heard about that, right?
Okay, CLA. So I wanted to ask about this at some point. Let's get into it. Let's get into it because
all right. I think it's the best.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. You go ahead. You're more passionate about it right now. Your face lit up.
No, I'm just going to say, just so I don't lead you down to feel like you got set up, I have a lot of criticisms about it, but I also love it.
You good. You didn't set me up.
We got transforming basketball back here.
Yeah.
We got by any means. We got by any means basketball here. The blueprint, I think, basketball blueprint. We got that one.
I'm a half a fan of his, half a fan, but I like Alex. I like Alex.
So now that you know that, I'll have a very honest conversation. I do like it, but I'm very critical of it too. So, yeah, we'll go there. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been waiting for this. All right. I feel that in my experience, what I've learned is, and I'm going to be very like, let's make this the most honest we can make it. Okay?
For sure.
And we're going to have this.
And I'm not going to try to dunk or get any gotchas either.
Yeah. And you're not going to trap me. I'm not going to trap you. We got respect for each other. Obviously, we. I feel like things like that I've been watching in the space in the field, and a lot of people that I talk to at a high level in college, they believe the same things. Where if you train like the shell drill, I don't feel like it works. I don't think 3-man weave works. I don't think they apply to the game. I've never seen those situations exist in the game. I've never seen a situation exist where you're running behind a player, you're catching the ball, and then another player's running behind you in a systematic approach. It just never happened to me. And I've watched thousands and thousands of hours of film at every level, right? The shell drill, I don't think it translates. A lot of the stuff that Transform and Alex is against, I believe I'm with him. I do believe that a lot of the 5-on-0 work does not work in the game, does not translate. I think the game is a whole level and I'm the pressure guy, bro. I teach kids to play under pressure. Like I teach adults, I teach college players to play under pressure. And if there's not enough pressure applied in practice, it's not going to translate to the game. And I think that Corey, UCLA, who, just won the title. I think she believes the same way. She loves running them small-sided games. She loves the pressure approach, and I think that I really and look. I don't agree with everything that Alex says. I don't agree with everything they do, and some of their setups I don't agree. But a lot of the stuff that they say in transforming has been a key towards. For me, it's been a key for me to move my training into a different format, right? So yeah. I do give people, and my buddy Coach Prince, who's got a guy at Arkansas, he's got a guy at Nevada, he's the same way. We both run CLA on everything. We run 2-on-3s. We run 3 versus 5. I run 1-on-2 a lot. And these kids are like, you could teach footwork. Like say you have this is what I've realized, and then I'll let you chime in, man, because I could talk about this forever.
No, sorry.
So say you got a 15 and 16-year-old, and you teach them footwork. The first day you teaching them the mastery of the best 5-star footwork or whatever. The next day you have them, you run them against 1-on-2. Like if you run them one person against 2 players, that footwork will naturally come out. It will finally come up because they'll be what I call forced into production. Otherwise, again, without looking at all their tapes and how they're doing in games, like you will not know if it's ever going to come out. But once they reach that certain level of stress and they're forced into FIP, we call it, forced into production, then it'll come out. So I want to get you to talk about your how you feel about the whole space and the CLA stuff.
Yeah. So I'm in the process of making a video on this on my main channel. I've had a lot of thoughts about CLA for a long time, ecological dynamics, all that sort of stuff. And it just takes to even not attack the subject, to talk about the subject. There's so much reading and research necessary to be done to understand it so that I can have valid criticisms of it, if that makes sense. So that's the last few months has just been me just doing that, deep diving and trying to understand. So on the surface, I think CLA, small-sided games, ecological dynamics, like getting to the thing quicker, on the surface, I think it's brilliant. I think it's exactly what coaches should strive to do. Like if we're trying to work on our ball screen defense, well, the quicker we get to our ball screen defense, we should do that. We shouldn't drill it for 3 hours and then be like, tomorrow we'll maybe get to play a little bit of it. Right.
100%.
The issue I have with CLA and ecological dynamics is the teaching of it. It's a full framework. So if you speak to someone who's deep in CLA ecological dynamics, they will tell you kind of what you said earlier, 3-man weave, shell drill, 5-on-0, like there's no place for it. Again, surface level, I agree with you, but that's how I feel about the heavy ball.
Really?
It's less about the drill and it's more about the why.
Okay, don't get me wrong. The heavy ball that I use is not the conventional heavy ball. It's a 6-pound.
No. Hear me out.
Medicine ball, actually, that I use.
No, hear me out. It's not that the heavy ball is bad. It's the reason people think you need a heavy ball is typically bad. Right. This will make me a better shooter. Well, hold on. What does that mean?
Right.
But you said you use the heavy ball for a very specific reason. So if I walk by a court and I see you teaching a kid to shoot with the heavy ball, I'll be like, well, what is this guy doing? Why are you doing that? And you're like, oh, it'll make them a little bit stronger, helping them get their core engaged. It's helping them with their balance and footwork. I go, oh, that's a great drill. So I'm not against the heavy ball. I'm against most people's application of the heavy ball.
I agree.
So CLA training will say 3-man weave is bad because that doesn't happen in a game. Cool. And again, this is where I was 10 years ago when I first heard about the CLA approach and went to these clinics and was learning about it. Man, you're right. I hate the 3-man. You'll never use that. Why? Then as I get to higher levels of basketball, what's old becomes new. You see some professional teams running 3-man weave.
I know.
Why are they doing 3-man weave? Oh, it's just like we just warm up. We're just warming up, get the ball through some hands, shoot a layup, and then we're moving. We don't do static stretching. Oh, This is their dynamic warm-up. They do two to 3 minutes of this. We're just going to get the ball through some hands. It gets us engaged. We're going to talk. Hey, let's get 5 in a row and we move on to the next thing. And the coach is in the office. The coach is still, hey, we're doing our thing. They're going to get themselves going. So when I look at it, it's the application of the 3-man weave. What's your why? Shell drill. Static shell drill where it's just pass the ball, 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 ball. Help. Deny. Again, I did that for hours at a time when I was younger. We did it every practice. I know. The way I coach, we do shell drill. Hey, you're going to be here. You're going to be here. You're going to be here. Okay. Everyone kind of gets it. Okay. Now, offense, when you pass the ball, you down screen. When you pass the ball across the top, you down screen. So now we got to defend a down screen on the opposite side. When you pass the ball to the corner, you cut.
That's much
different. The same. It's still shell drill. I've just added. So here's the issue I have with CLA. You're doing the thing that I've been trying to fix. There are a shit ton of bad coaches out there.
Thanks.
So a bad coach is going to be like, what drills should I do? I'm going to get a heavy ball. I'm going to do 3-man weave. I'm going to do shell drill. We'll do some 5-on-0 stuff. Boom. That's practice. I'm like, that is just a bad practice. But Coach Sean, me and you are going to co-coach this practice. Hey, Coach Sean, you got the warm-up. You got I'm going to engage their core. We're going to get the heavy ball out. We're all going to like get warmed up, get loose, build some strength. All right, I'm going to get them, hey, 3-man weave. We're going 2 minutes. That's all we got. But you got to talk. You got to say everyone's name. You got to do a different pass every single time. And on the layup, it has to be a swish.
I like that. Hey, that's a lot different. That's a lot different. Yeah, I like that. But
it's the same. It's the same drill, but it's the application of the drill. So I will say that I think you can do both. Coach Corey Close at UCLA, I called out By Any Means Basketball Coleman because he pointed out one of her practices that was very static block training. Catch at the elbow, jab step, go shoot a layup. And he was like, coaches shouldn't do this anymore. Colleges across the country do this block training. And I'm like, well, hold on. They also do a lot of small-sided games. They also do a lot of other stuff. But there is the thing that I've found CLA struggles to address is mastery. And I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I think at some point, there is a point where a player or where a team has to go through the gauntlet. You have to do the boring thing at some point. But most coaches start there let's do that for 90% of the practice, 10% play. Whereas I'm like, flip that over. Let's go 90% play or 90% moving and thinking and doing stuff, 10% gauntlet. All right, guys, go over there and shoot 30 form shots. Oh, coach, go do it. Sometimes you got to go through the gauntlet. So that's my thoughts. Now, I think you can do both. Yeah. A lot of CLA coaches will say, nope, it's a framework. It works together. You can't do both. That's where my issue is.
So my thing is, and I think I'm more on the same page with you than the other coaches, is like you're so detail oriented that you're saying, you're talking about the why, which makes sense. You're more of a mental type of, and I understand that, dude. You're super detailed, and a lot of coaches are not, man. They just don't have the
I agree.
They're not there with it. And I would agree with you that, 3-man weave as a warm-up is totally sufficient. It's totally cool. Now, if you're really training a high-pressure situation, it's not the most ideal thing to use, which was what I like to do. 3-man weave?
Yeah, how come?
Because
could you conceive of a way to use 3-man weave in a high-pressure situation?
Hell no. You can't, bro. How? You
can't add time? You can't add shot pressure?
Yes. Okay. You could. So you're talking about running more aspects. Yeah, you could do that for sure. You could turn it into something, but in the reality. So
that's why I look at CLA as a tool. Unbeatable. I don't think it gets any better than that.
Right.
As an entire framework, I don't think it tells the whole story.
You're saying people that stick to the exact framework, like no matter what.
Again, they don't know. Why is CLA good? Why is traditional coaching bad? If you can understand your why for that, then you're probably on the right path. But for me,
it's not one or the other. Not all traditional.
I agree.
All traditional is bad, right? Like in the book, they slaughter traditional coaching, right?
Yes,
and that's
that's one of the biggest issues I have with it.
Right, and so I'm on par with that, brother. because not all traditional coaching is bad. Again, traditional coaching got us here. We had great 80s. We had great 80s rivalries between Magic and Bird, and all that stuff. There was no CLA. Well, it was beginning, I'm sure.
But maybe accidental.
Maybe accidental, but they weren't like.
Does it matter? We don't know what to call it, but small-sided games. We've been doing small-sided games forever.
Yeah, it's called 21, bro. Yeah, it's called. Yeah, it's called, 2 versus 3, and we somebody quit. You know what I'm saying?
You play tips. Did you used to play? I know the kids are going to say that, but where you're shooting the ball, you play horse. You're just playing horse, but if you miss, you can tip the ball in. Yeah, if it hits the ground once, you lose 1 point.
Yeah, we played that.
If it hits the ground once, you lose 1 point. If I tip it in without the ball hitting the ground at all, that's 2 points.
That's a CLA.
Like we used to play all those games. That's small-sided games.
That's a small-sided game right there. So. Yeah, I agree with you. And so look, it comes back to the fact that like not everything is one, it's not all one thing. It's like we take things like I think you're very reasonable in your approach of your research. Is like we take certain things that work. Now for me, the 2-on-1s, I'm not sure if Alex mentions that in his book or not. I can't remember, but I put these kids through 2-on-1s now, and now I'm getting kids that actually
what's the drill?
So we go, all right. So this is one of my favorite things to do, bro. We go, and I run this as early as 9 years old. But the kids have to be beyond, like I have that pyramid on my page where it's like the first thing everyone has to learn is coordination, how the body moves. And then they get to like the second page, which is like catch and shoot under pressure. They have to be like their handles have to be a certain place. Their shooting ability has to be a certain place. You can't run 2-on-1s with kids that are brand new.
Can we just talk about what just happened there?
Go ahead.
This is where I say, and you've said it, so this is not going at you. It's more of a critique on the CLA framework. You're saying if they're at a certain point, then we can do this certain thing. Now, you as a coach have to recognize, well, okay, I probably have to get you to that point. And that might require some drills. That might require some teaching, some telling. CLA approach will say instruction doesn't work. And I'm like, well, it does. I've been a teacher.
I haven't come across that part.
So again, this is why the CLA approach, ecological dynamics as a whole theory, it's flawed. It's very flawed. There's not enough research on it.
But I'm looking this video for real. Yeah.
Taking the good stuff from it. I've been using CLA since I went to those clinics. That was eye-opening to me. That was, a long time. This is over 12 years ago now. And it just changed the way I thought about coaching. I've always been in tune with individuals and, the person, but that put words to a lot of the questions, gave me some solutions to a lot of the issues I was running into. But the more I've read about it now, because I was like, why am I arguing with these CLA guys all the time? Why am I? It's something. Okay, I'm going to research exactly what my issue is with it, and what it initially solves for is bad coaches. It initially solves for bad coaches. Bad coaches, like what we were talking about earlier, static stretching, 3-man weave, shell drill, call it a practice, call it a day.
Yeah, go home.
If you read Transforming Basketball, if you read By Any Means Basketball's book, it's going to give you enough information to be like, hold on, I need to change the way I think. Why am I doing this? Whatever. It's going to make you a better coach. Now, when you go to be the best coach, I need to learn more about CLA and more. I'm like, hold on. No. Take those tools that you learned and keep developing them with other styles, look at other coaches, what they're doing, see what's working. And it's like, you need all of it to be the best coach. Where CLA goes wrong, Alex Sarama goes wrong. And I don't know if you've seen a lot of his interviews he's done already with the WNBA. He's just, a lot of the players are like, man, it's a lot learning all this new language. It's a lot learning all these new things.
Tell me about it.
And I'm like, I know he has a system and he believes in it, but at some point communication, again, when I was coaching in Australia, I had to change a lot of the words I was using so that people understood me better. I didn't make them have to learn my system.
No.
And I'm like, there's a broken link there. Sometimes you do have to coach to the level you're at. You have to coach to the person you have. You have to meet them where they're at, kind of thing. And I think that's where CLA misses it, because they have as much research and statistics done that traditional coaching or other styles of coaching, like the research is just not, if you look at any of those studies that they cite, it's not conclusive. It's usually like this one team did this one thing and they won. Well, that's great. But this other team did traditional old school coaching and they've been winning for 20. That's not good enough
for them to say that, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right?
And if one thing I do know that's a through line, I almost guarantee that the teams that won, regardless of what style of coaching, I bet they had the better athletes.
100%.
So that's one part where I go. And so the way I explain this.
So let's challenge.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say before I forget this, let's challenge it. Let's challenge it even more. Then, if you was a, let's go in two different directions here. We'll go first. If you were a WNBA, head coach, and you only had a certain amount of things that you could put preference on, priority on. You have essence, you have strength and conditioning. Like say you had a limited amount of time because you have your games and you have everything else. Strength and conditioning, a CLA approach, or I'm just giving you a hypothetical, right? I'm just giving you a hypothetical. Or scouting and drafting the best athletes, period. How would you rank all three of those?
Yeah, perfect world, I'd be doing all of those really well.
That's not the question.
No. If I had to choose, I would say at an elite level, the best athletes, the best player, best athlete. Give me that.
You're putting in your resources to getting the best athletes and teaching them basketball as we go. That's one.
Well, and when I say best athlete, like obviously in how that correlates to basketball, right? Not just the biggest dude in the draft, but he's the best athletic prospect. So would I take a Wemby or a Chet? Chet's probably better right now, but Wemby's the best prospect. And again, that's an extreme example, but it's like, he's 7'8". We just go for that guy. AJ DeBanza or Darren Peterson. AJ DeBanza, for me. But there's very good arguments for going the other way.
But that's because you understand the body works. Someone skill-wise would be, Darius the Cuff, stellar athlete as well as a crazy skill player. So it's I would probably want the best athletes, and I would want whenever we talked about earlier, I wouldn't spend as much time training them on how to shoot. I would be more time on that. Let's get the best athletes. Let's teach them what are good shots for us. So once they understand what a good shot is, hey, corner threes are the most efficient three-pointer. You got layups, you got free throws, then you got corner threes. Facts.
Yeah, so for us, I'd say corner threes are the most efficient catch and shoot shot you can get. So our system is going to be built on getting corner threes.
Yeah, because
getting corner threes relies on 2 feet in the key, which also gets the other efficient shots of layups and free throws. So I would be more concerned about that.
100%.
And then it's like, okay, how do we get that? There's a lot of block training. Hey guys, when you're on your own, you're going to go sit in the corner and shoot thousands of threes. I don't want you doing all this other stuff. Go block train corner threes.
No,
when we have partners, when we have more people, hey, we're doing small-sided games to get those results of layups and threes. Again, this is the CLA part. But I also had some block training there. But then I also believe in getting the best athlete. That's why I said in an ideal world, I do all. But I think it starts with the best athlete, best player. Boom. And then we add the next layers. So the thing that I looked at what Portland Fire is doing in the WNBA where I dislike, it's like they had opportunities to draft better players. And they're like, no, we want EuroLeagues. We want more European players. We want more overseas players. And it's like, that's great. And the system might be great.
You're talking about people that may have been CLA trained and like the mental aspects rather than the best athletes. That's interesting, bro. I didn't notice that.
Because for me, at some point, you run into Giannis. At some point, you run into Joel Embiid. At some point, you run into LeBron.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to be the Thunder. You want to have all the pieces. They're CLA. They've got the efficiency. They've got players that can do all these things. Best defensive team. They play 1 through 15, and they have the best player.
Yeah, they have
You're
massive.
working to be the Thunder, but
Oh,
you might be the Indiana Pacers, who don't have the best player. They didn't have the best. This is talking about last year. They didn't have the best player.
you're
They
right.
didn't, but they did play 1 through 15. They did play up tempo. They did play a
Bro,
good style.
that
They
is
played
elite.
defense full court.
That was elite
So
coaching that year, for sure.
they ticked all the other boxes. They just didn't have the best player.
And they were running concept.
Yeah, but same as Thunder. They did everything that got them to this point, but eventually you run into Shea. Eventually you run into Giannis, where we just need someone to do something weird at the end that I can't. It's not a CLA or ecological dynamics or traditional coaching thing. Shea is just Shea.
I know.
Right. And that's the part that I think you work on most with players, how to be a player that makes things happen. But I think most people, as you just said earlier, are Instagram coaches that all they want to coach is that. They don't understand how the rest links into the rest links into that. They just go, hey, I can show you a cool thing Shea did. Let's watch it. And I'll teach it to you.
Doesn't work.
That's fine. But are you as athletic as Shea? Or have you ticked all the 30 boxes first? No, you haven't? Okay. It's fun. It might be fun to learn, but how does this apply to you?
Yeah. And so, like you said, the priority is building the athlete, then building the player.
Yeah. And then what's the cool skill I can teach you that applies to you?
Exactly.
It might not be Shea for you. You might need to watch Derek White. You might need to watch Peyton Pritchard. You might need to watch TJ McConnell.
Just finish off 2 like he does. Get to the hips.
You might need to watch Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo. You might need to watch those guys that are undersized, but somehow they're dominating. Josh Hart. You might need to watch people that are dominating without the ball, dominating doing other things. 100%. And then if you're that player on your team that is the Jalen Brunson, okay, we can work on some cool stuff. But we get those kids 1 out of every 50. Most of you are going to be working on catch and shoot corner threes, catch and drive, catch and jab and go, like those sort of things. The quicker you can jab now, because your plyos and your other stuff, the quicker you can do that, the more effective you'll be. If you can dunk on someone rather than having to shoot a layup, the better you'll be. But I'm going to teach you this part that's going to get you to here. It's your job, someone else's job to do the strength and conditioning. I can tell it to you, but you got to do it.
Yeah, facts.
So I think again, we've just had different basketball experiences to get where we're at. Right. And one thing I've noticed, just because I've had so many of these conversations, you are at a point where I was too. The only difference is I now had to unthink some of that stuff because of the role I had, but it's given me a different perspective from other people's sides now. But I actually think you and I are very similar in the way we think about.
I do too, bro.
And it's our vocabulary that's a little bit different, or our wording. Explanations are going to be a little bit different, but I actually think we're very similar. And I think the most important thing I see is like, why not both? You can do both. Or
with our viewpoints on traditional and that's what you're talking about?
That, but also when you said like 3-man weave is bad, I'm like, yeah, but that's how I felt about heavy ball. So if you can just go, hey, 3-man weave is almost like most coaches, you don't need to do it, but you need to have a why for all your drills. Yeah. I think that's where we're different. Because I said the exact same thing you did 10 years ago. 3-man weave is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Because I had bad coaches my whole life. Then I went the opposite way. All the stuff that bad coaches did, like all that stuff's bad. And then I had to go through a relearning process of like, hold on. If there's a why to doing something, you got to let it go. Because I do bad drills too, I'm sure.